Welcome to the Kee To Growth Podcast, Home Services Marketing Unlocked, with me, your host, Jen McKee. Every week, I sit down with top marketers in the trades, from the brains behind $100 million companies to those scaling from 1 to 3, even to 10 million, breaking down exactly how they got where they are and uncover the secret to their success. If you're ready to grow your business and get real, actionable insights, you are in the right place. Let's unlock the key to your marketing success starting now.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Kee To Growth Podcast. I am your host, Jen McKee, and today's guest, you hopefully know who she is. I feel so lucky that she was one of the first people that really was like, yes, Jen, like gave me a platform, really, and I'm so appreciative of that, and it's been fun to still stay connected with her throughout the years, but that didn't really tell you anything about who she is. So today I have Sarah Ghirardo, and Sarah, tell people who you are if they don't know.
So I'm Sarah Ghirardo. I have a lot of different jobs. People actually don't know what I do for a living, which is so fine with me. The best marketers, really don't know what you're doing. Not actually in marketing. I am a director of product content. So basically, I create email, direct mail templates. I work in Sales Pro, and I'm creating the Pro for ServiceTitan in forms of content. So things that you can use to really help your marketing and grow and automate your business. That's what I focus on. My night job is I am a owner of the Trademark Podcast with Eric Thomas of Rival Digital, and so that's another side hustle that I have. And then my last side hustle is vending machines with my son. So
Oh my gosh, my husband was just talking to me about that the other day.
yeah.
I have a question. I don't think that's for this podcast, but I do want to say it.
Started yet. Like we're speaking of this into existence for the summer.
Fun. I love that. So you said you're not in marketing, but Sarah you do have a marketing background. So I guess start from the beginning. How did you become the part of the ServiceTitan team? Like, where did they steal you from?
Yeah, so I was a director of marketing for a large residential HVAC company in Northern California. Let's just say multi-million-dollar company. And I was on their ServiceTitan's email marketing, and I was like, man, this is just clunky. And I was a beta test user, and so I was giving them feedback on the product. Well, then a job came up, a position, and I saw it online and I was like, you know what? I'm going to click to apply. I'm going to take a chance on myself, whether I have all of the dots checked or boxes checked or whatever. I'm just going to, I could do this.
Yeah.
And so I did. And then I made a presentation about all the things I wanted to see and all the things I didn't like. And I presented it to the Marketing Pro team and to Vahe, and I got hired. And so I've been here for 5.5 years. I stay close to marketing. Obviously, I want to know what's relevant, what's going on in the industry. I listen so that I can help. During COVID, no one was talking about marketing. And so a few of us as high-level marketers kind of stepped in and started to help the trades. And I think that's how my name got known a little bit. But I still continue to do that because I just want to see everyone win. So
yeah. And I think that, you mentioned it, you listen and ask questions. And so you've created a couple different platforms where you're doing that. So what are you seeing has changed in marketing over the last, I don't know how relevant it is to talk about the last 5 years, but even the last year that trades owners need to be paying attention to?
Yeah, most definitely. So the role is completely evolving, right? Some people in the trades, when they're in marketing, they have 20 different hats.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You're starting out, you're doing something, and you'll learn and grow into different roles and learn how that management process really should be. But what's happening is that the marketer role doesn't have to be so hard, right? You can lean into AI and automation and make it faster, better. You're not smarter than a computer, right? As much as we want to say that, we have ideas, put them in and have a computer, help you and get to documentation faster, get to the end strategy faster, and take action faster. And I think that's really where we're seeing the marketing role evolve, is how they're leveraging AI and automation. And those that will get ahead faster, not just because they're creating more content, it's because they're able to get to the endpoint faster.
I so agree to that. I think about, I used to actually wrestle with it in my head of is this cheating? And then I'm like, no, because I'm able to get through data faster. I'm able to arrange it faster, rather than having to overthink or I hate to say, use my brain to figure out how the data goes together. Just give it all to ChatGPT and be like, okay, what did you see here? Like, where can I pull out of this? And then what does it look like if I manipulate this part of it? Like, what could that look like in a month or whatever? And so being able to, like you said, like make those decisions faster, and it's like you're going to be light years ahead of people who aren't doing it.
Yeah, and lean into it, right? It's like you test, you feel forward, and those that feel forward the fastest, like they're gonna be the winners. The other things that I'm seeing in marketing, it's media chaos is what I like to call it. And there's gonna be noise coming at you from all over the place. Stay focused, look at the facts. And sometimes you don't know the facts because the media likes to point you to facts that aren't really facts. So like just pay attention, ask more questions, stay curious as much as possible, understand the compliance that's going on, understand, the new regulations that are going on, how you could be a part of the change. Those are main things that I would just say. It's like you always have to be ahead of it. You have to be like a fortune teller when you're a marketer. Like, oh, what does this mean? And how do I plan for it? And how do I pivot? So it's a really interesting role that I love like to death. And people will be like, why do you talk about marketing so much? And I'm like, I don't know. I just really like it.
I know, me too. So you have ServiceTitan Marketing Pro Facebook group. So what are some questions that you're seeing there, or even that your team is getting a lot of, like things that people are wanting to do and they have access to it and maybe don't even know?
Yeah, most definitely. SMS is the new hot thing, right? They're like, oh my God.
Which is what?
Well, it's sending text messaging. Let me say
Right.
it that way, right? It's the new hot thing that people want to do. And there are so many rules around SMS that it does create friction in the different tools and platforms that you have, because like there's compliance built in, there's opt-ins and opt-outs. And then, we're like international. So we're working on all these things in the back end to make it as easy as possible for, you all to use. But the truth of the matter is that to do SMS the right way, it's the compliant way. And like, that's a hard part to think about. I did text messaging probably 7 years ago, maybe more in the old business. And did it work? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I know what I was doing? Absolutely not. I was like, yeah. And then I read about the laws, like the laws and the fees. And then I talked to a lawyer and I was like, we're just going to pivot.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. And the whole thing is that email has a lot of compliance rules around it too. I think that, I don't know what it is, and I shouldn't even say this because I don't know how legally true it is, but I think people have just gotten used to being spammed in their email. And so there's less people like, making a big deal about it. We just assume it's going to happen. But back in the Clubhouse days, there was a creator. Yeah, there was a creator I started following who was like an email compliance expert. And the stuff that she would say, I'm like, I don't think most people are doing this at all. Like when it comes to email, and not to like discount what you're saying, because I know exactly where you're coming from, and you're coming from like what ServiceTitan is going to do right now based on compliance. And I completely understand that, but evolve, you evolving.
You see all the sides. It's always going to evolve. Like compliance is in marketing just in general. So my advice to you is, I'm not a lawyer, but definitely contact a lawyer at the beginning of end of the year, maybe mid-check in the year, and just be like, hey, what laws do I not know about that might be coming down the pipeline? Like our data privacy laws they're important. And securing your data is important, and all of these things. And it's like, what you don't know, but you can ask these questions because it's your job as a business owner to be compliant.
Yeah, it's all fine until you get hit with a lawsuit, and then you have to figure it out.
Actual lawsuit, and you're like, oh.
You know what? Someone just told me, and actually let me talk to the lawyer about this. I haven't told this story publicly, but they told me that their relative was a lawyer and was dealing with a case where the business owner had a lawsuit against them for stock images. And so wherever they were getting the stock images from, that company didn't have permission to sell them commercially, I guess. I don't know all of the details of it, but it was so interesting to me. I'm like, as soon as I heard that, I was like, please, can I talk to the lawyer? Like, I'm just really interested in what was going on here. And I mean, Sarah, that I'm against stock images for marketing purposes, but if that's another reason to not use them, and even sites like Pexels, like those are crowdsourced sites, like and so when you signing the contract, and then you have another company posting crowdsourced images, it can get really really tricky. And there can, as rare as it is, it does happen. And like, we don't see what's happening all the time, but just being in compliant and having a lawyer help you navigate what you're doing can be really, really important.
Yeah, I mean, like, I am not a lawyer, but I have seen some things, and especially as a marketer. And so it's like, just double check whatever you're doing and make sure that you're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
I think that's what Kim would say. So.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of things that you've learned, you have the Trademark Podcast, which means you have a ton of people sharing some great things with you. So like, what is the most interesting marketing thing or just thing that you've learned from that podcast from one of your guests on there?
Oh my gosh, I learned something from every podcast. And I feel like this season has been more of like, it's been emotional. And I feel like people are really connecting to their vulnerabilities. And that's a cool thing to see as a business owner, but also as just a human. You're like, wow, like that's what I really want in a podcast is like, I want to give value. I want to see that we're human, right? Understand their why and relate it all back to, wow, how far have you come?
Yeah.
Because like as owners, we don't think about how far we've come. We're just keep going and going and going. But the story, it's like a circle. And so you got to tell them of like, you get to reward people of like their accomplishments. And I think like that's the beauty of the podcast and giving back to the trades at a scalable level as much as I can, right? Like we're a 100% organic podcast right now, have over 11,000 downloads in less than a year and a half.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. And, we're working and going into more to see what we can do with advertising and really getting out there. But even what we have today, like we're just so grateful to have people that support us and want to listen to us. And hopefully that we've helped a lot of people.
Yeah, I love that. And then if you're watching this like on YouTube or on social media, you can see the name of the podcast. And I always have people drop their links at the end, but it is like one word and it has an E at the end, trademark.
Yes, we're very original.
If you're looking for it, I mean, that's what you're looking for. Okay. So one thing that you've talked about is like not scaling too early. So what does that really look like from a marketing perspective?
So not scaling too early. Let's think about that. Like in what context? So not
until your team is ready.
Okay. So I think that sometimes we don't think about scale. And maybe that's a better way to think about this is like when we get into a business, we're like, hey, we're going to grind and hustle and we're going to do this. And they become micro tasks. So they become like $10 tasks, right? And so we're doing $10 tasks all day long and they're repetitive and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're just redundant. And we don't think about as a goal of how do we scale? How do we make this to where there's maybe AI and automation in it, but how do we keep growing?
Yeah.
Right. And I was always given this question by one of my previous bosses. He was like, Sarah, like, how do you scale? Like, how do you scale teaching marketing in the trades? And how do you do this? And so we went out and we spoke at conferences. We went around and created our own marketing summits with the Toolbox Live edition. I brought in as many people as I could to speak and talk about marketing. And then I was like, my boss was still asking me the question. He was like, well, how do you scale this even more? And I was like, I don't know. I'm just one person. I don't know. And so that's when like Eric and I were talking and we're like, let's just do a podcast. And we're like, okay. So that's what we did. And we started scrappy. We're still scrappy. I'm still doing a lot of the social media, like the back end things. But, now in everything that I do, I'm like, I always think of like, what is the scale of this?
Yeah.
What does this look like? 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, like where is this going to go? And I don't know what 10 years is going to look like because we don't know what next month is going to look like with AI, right? We're all could have robots delivered to our doors.
I know. It's so crazy. Have you watched The Wild Robot? How old are your kids? Anyways, sorry to bring up something like that, but The Wild Robot is a movie and a book. My daughter is now reading she just finished the second book. She's reading the third one, but it is so interesting because the robot like learns and ends up being sentient, which is like the whole thing about robots. It's like, that's like the scary part, but it is a really cute movie.
It is a really cute movie. I did cry on the plane. I watched all my movies on the plane and then I think about like, should I tell people about all the Disney movies?
That's so funny.
Fine.
I love that. Okay. So speaking, you brought up the marketing toolboxes. So I would love to just hear like what's coming down the line with Marketing Pro that you can share about in marketing, ServiceTitan marketing area.
Yeah, most definitely. So recently, well, last November, Lexi and I created a product called Autopilot. And we've been, what that is that we built audiences and templates that actually will get you started faster in 2 clicks versus 68. So that's one of the new products that we're really wanting to utilize. It warms up your email. It has like automated ROI. We're seeing ROI very happening quickly and the templates work. So I would use that as you start off with Marketing Pro. The other thing in Marketing Pro is the SMS missed call campaigns. So when you miss a call, SMS is automatically sent.
There's no reason why someone shouldn't be using that. Like that 100% needs to be turned on. If you're using Marketing Pro, like that alone should pay for whatever you're spending on Marketing Pro.
Right. Because how much does it cost to miss a call? Well, we can work.
I mean, literally.
Just look at like you're either wasting spend in marketing or you're missing an average ticket size. Like you're missing there's so much that you're missing in a missed call. And yeah, so that's gold. There's also new ways to get people to opt into SMS. I always say it's a full customer journey to get opt-ins. It can start with your marketing piece. You could have a QR code that links, hey, sign up for our SMS. It could go to your CSR where they're saying it in their script. Their technician now has the ability to add in that as well. You're seeing that throughout the entire process, that we're really focusing on getting those SMS opt-ins in a compliant way through the entire customer journey. We are working on Meta. We're always optimizing our Google Ads platform. And soon you'll see maybe a new Marketing Pro version coming out. And that's really cool. So we'll be merging our customers slowly but surely onto a cool new thing. And yeah, I mean, there's just so much. There's even more going on. We're always thinking about just what's the next level experience that you could have.
Yeah.
And I think like that's the cool thing. It's weird too to think about. We're only like a team of 8.
Yeah. I just think it's cool. Like you think about ServiceTitan is such a huge company and you think about like people are just coming up with ideas and then testing them and then rolling them out. Just people.
Yeah, it's wild. We get lots of feedback from, the trades as to like what the usually if you look at Marketing Pro, it's all the channels that have the hardest attribution.
Yeah.
And the thing about Marketing Pro, and I will say this just in general, like as to why I moved to it a long time ago. And this was a decision I made 6-7 years ago, right? I said, oh my God, this is attached to my data.
Yeah.
I don't have to log in and out of something else. I don't have to import my data back and forth. Like, what if something breaks and I don't know, like because of the transfers? It was like, and that was a big time when in California compliance was like, it was like on the radar of everything.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done playing like with other programs. Like I've got to figure out how to use this. And that is like my biggest thing is like the program that's closest to your data is always going to win.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt about it.
It reminds me of when I got married and I wanted to piecemeal everything, like all my vendors. And then at the end of my wedding, I was like, I should have just done it all through like one person because like it just saves you time. It saves you energy. It saves you that human error of like missing something or making sure that the pieces are communicating. And I mean, luckily for marketers out there, ServiceTitan does have an open API where you can connect Zapier to other products. So that is great when you're looking for some things that Marketing Pro maybe doesn't offer, but it constantly glitches too. And so having everything in one place is always going to be easier than trying to piecemeal it together.
Yeah. And honestly, like I have automations that are set up for internal use. And even with Zapier, like it glitches. Like I just found a glitch the other day and I was like, cool, like, now I've got to change my prompt and, make sure that things are right. But everything is in constant iteration.
Right.
And there's going to be new tools coming out by like the day, right? What you can create in AI is insane.
Yeah.
I launched an app within, I think it took me maybe 2 hours just because I was trying to think of like the name. But the idea of, the connection, it's still just going to matter. matter. And the idea of like testing into new programs and software, that's cool and all, like your due diligence. And you might need to understand that you're still the test, right? Like their product could have rolled out yesterday and like, you're like, yeah, cool, let me try this. And that it's so provide great feedback to them. That's what I can say. It's like, give them honest feedback, great feedback. Like I said, I had a list of grievances when I came to work at ServiceTitan, and I was like, this doesn't work like I want it to.
Yeah. And that is how it gets better for sure.
It's you all giving us the feedback and us listening to the opportunity statements and making great product together for the trade, though.
Yeah. So this episode will probably air in the heat of the summer. So what is like one thing that everyone needs to be doing or something they could be using on Marketing Pro? I don't know, something cool.
Yeah. So I would go ahead and have all of your campaigns set and ready to go for the summer. Like if you could do this in January, that would be great. Basically, what you're going to do is create audiences for all of your existing clients. Now, there are those that have not had service in the past 6 months. So they're due for service, and it doesn't matter what trade that you're actually in, you can still contact them. There are members that have not had service and you're probably waiting. You're like March, April, this is where I'll hold them to. But as you grow, you want to be more consistent with that membership. So you'll want to talk to them throughout the entire year, because often what happens in the summer is their system will break down and then you have to move them to priority, which changes your call board and then makes you lose that new customer because you're rearranging the priority of your call board. So really think about that. But my favorite is with the existing customers. You now have like existing customers that don't have service, existing customers that do have service. So within 1 to 30 days, send them the SMS opt-in email, get them started with that because maybe we forgot. And then for those that are engaged, use marketing behaviors. So if they open the email, now they're engaged even more, right? So you can say, hey, send us a referral or review us. You can continue that with a newsletter drip. So it's like you just keep talking to people is what I'm going to say, because a new customer, like who wants to pay for that during the summer? Like you have these existing bases, you'll get new leads coming in naturally, based off of your brand, based off of PPC, whatever you're doing. But like these customers, these are your lifetime value, right? You'll create new ones, each one, but they need to be nurtured, rehashed, and really just given value. So summer tips of what to do to prepare your home, spring tips for allergies, knowing the different kind of humidifiers that are out there, understanding the green sustainability, understanding the new changes and regulations. All of these are information that you can give to your customers. You're hiring, and they can go through a lot of different funnels. And so it's not just email, it's like email, direct mail. Like you can have a cohesive strategy for each one of them.
Correct. And that's where social media comes in, like everywhere. You want them to see you so much that like you're tired of how much they're seeing you. They still aren't seeing you enough. Like no one is seeing you enough. It's not possible.
No. And you're engaging with your own content, so it's being shown to you more than where we normally be shown to others. So like really think about that. A lot of people I'm seeing right now are kind of turning down PPC and going social. I think like look at the strategy, what makes sense. Are you spending enough? Are you limited by budget? Like are things happening with your money because it's only getting more expensive? So like you're going to have to diversify, and you're going to have to be not super reliant and heavy on one channel, but like understand where you spend optimally to get the best desired result.
Yeah, for sure. And it's only, we're in such a weird place, and obviously it changes every day. So we can't even say like what the economy looks like tomorrow. But no matter what, like people always still need services. People always still need experts. People always still need the home services. And we know that. But it's really about like how you will be the trusted person that they're going to want to work with. And that's where all of your marketing channels come in. And so having an email, having direct mail, having your brand, having your truck strap, having your social media, having like, it sounds like so much, even when I say it, and I didn't even say all of it. That was like such a small.
Social media is like what, 10 channels?
I know. It's like multiple places on every, like stories and videos and reposting and ads and just content.
I mean, we could talk about tools all day long just to use and repurpose content and to like help you with your marketing. But like the fact of the matter is that tool could be outdated tomorrow because another tool built the same thing and it works a little bit better. So, I mean, like there's just so much going on inside of the economy, like how people are behaving, and we can guess and we are sometimes right. And sometimes we're like, oh, wait, we totally missed this piece. And that's okay. As long as you're able to pivot quickly. I think that's and have resilience and be like, oh, well, I wasn't stuck to that idea. Like let it go and then fail forward quickly and just move on. I think that's going to be the marketer's best and the business owner's like best thing. Because if they follow every headline, good God, like, media is marketing as well. So.
Well, 100%. I mean, everything is marketing, but also if you follow every shiny object that comes out, like I definitely know there's some owners out there that are like, oh, I heard about this. Like, should we do it? I mean, I don't know. Like you have to figure out, I mean, yes, it's probably not fun to hear. Like, yes, you should be everywhere and you should be everywhere within reason. I mean, that's just the way that it goes. Like we consume so much content from every direction, especially on our phones. So if you can show up wherever people are looking on their phone, that's going to be really beneficial because we're spending hours a day looking at it, but also everywhere is.
You're always being marketed to, right? And you want to be everywhere, but sometimes that's just not like, that's not feasible. So do one thing today, right? Read the book called One Thing and do a focused effort and nail it on the head. And if you don't nail it on the head, fine. Okay. Then add something different to that one thing, but just keep it's not a hustle. It really is just consistency. It's really about reputation. It's really about just being a great owner, being curious, as Keith McCurry would always say, and leaning in.
Yeah.
That's all you can do is just lean in a little harder sometimes.
I love that. So I feel like that feeds into this. But so on this podcast, it's the Kee To Growth podcast. So I asked all the guests at the end, what is the key to growth?
Consistency. Yeah. Just
Agreed.
Be consistent and take wild chances. You never know. Push the button.
I love that. So Sarah, where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
So they can find me at sghirardo, ServiceTitan.com. Anyone can email me at any point in time. Always open to have conversations about marketing. You can find me at the Trademark Podcast.com. That is our podcast. And you can sign up to be on the podcast. We are always looking for guests. And yeah, for some reason, my phone number from Google Voice is out there as well. So if you find that, you can text me because I do not answer my phone because of all the spam calls, but I will definitely get a hold of you in any way, however you want to get a hold of me. I'm around.
She's also on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Find her at social media. There's a Facebook group. What is it? ServiceTitan Marketing Pro.
ServiceTitan Marketing Pro Facebook group. It is for Marketing Pro Facebook users only, and it's only to provide value. So we allow vendors in, but only if they provide value.
So don't sell. But I think it's a great resource because if there's anything that I've heard, it's that sometimes people get Marketing Pro and don't understand how to use it in the best way. And so having support, I'm going through the ServiceTitan certified training right now. So I'm learning more about Marketing Pro. But I think I've also just been given logins to ServiceTitan and tried to figure it out. And it's really hard to figure out if you don't have direction on what you're doing. So having a support like that is going to make a huge difference on what you're getting out of it.
Yeah. I mean, we grew from 300 people to over almost 3,000. And that's people using the product. So in a relatively 3.5 short years. And we did that intentionally, right? We also have a group for Sales Pro like that as well. ServiceTitan Masterminds. The collective is better. Community is, you're better together. And so, yeah, we talk about Marketing Pro a lot, but I'll drop in updates that I see from being subscribed to all the things. And I talk about random marketing things that are happening just to stay on top of things because we can't be everywhere and anywhere at the same time.
For sure. I think that you gave so much gold. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. It was an honor.